Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that I'm about to show you is going to bring a smile to your face all the way down to your heart because a leftist liberal judge appointed by Obama on the Supreme Court, Justice Sotomayor, just destroyed AR bans officially forever. This is a massive one. Everything is linked in the description box below, and a special hat tip to Mark over at Four Boxes Diner because he also picked this up. You're going to love every second of it. Now, like I said, it is linked. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. And this content is made possible by TacPack. I'm going to do a quick spot for them, and then we're going to hit this. And the sponsor today is TacPack. Now, TacPack is a subscription box service of stuff you'll actually use. It is professionally curated and geared, again, that you will actually use. Aimed at an audience specifically to an AR-15 enthusiast, this is something that you would get an absolute use out of. Plus, if you use the code Langley, you get a $65 additional EDC kit just by using that code in your June TAC pack. An example of something that came in one of my TAC packs, boom, and that's just one item. Now, these are extremely useful products. They are high dollar value boxes and they're easy to cancel whenever you need. You use Langley, the code Langley for $65 for your own EDC kit to get thrown into June, and it's just in time to Father's Day. So make sure you check it out. There's a link in the description, and I can't wait for you to get one just like I do. All right, beautiful people, let's dive in. I mean, good Lord above. There is nothing better than getting the emotional response from the left on something when they undermine some more of their golden tenets of gun control. Because as you know, the AR bans is like the who's who of gun control, right? And I'm gonna kind of lead with the highlight here. I'm gonna give you the good stuff for the first part, and then I'm gonna tie it all in together. But listen to this. This is the part that you need to know because this is incredibly important. This is Sotomayor writing. Within a matter of minutes, using several hundred rounds of ammunition, the shooter killed 58 people and wounded over 500. This is in her dissent. He did so by affixing bump stocks to commonly available semi-automatic rifles. That last part, she just confirmed common use in the Heller decision in reference to AR-15s. Now, what does that mean on a broad spectrum? Because we've been covering this for years at this point on this channel. We've had this conversation many times. Common use is something that precludes it from military hardware or military weapons. Common use means it's in hands of common people. It's a commonly known firearm. That's the whole point. In the Heller decision, it says you can't restrict the rights of firearms that are commonly owned. That is extremely a paraphrase, but that's the point. Common use. We've said it multiple times. Sotomayor just confirmed that AR-15s are in common use. So now every AR ban that has come before the court, this is going to be interesting because you're going to be citing the Cargill case after you've been supplemented through the Heller case. And then the Bruin decision. Guys, this is massive. But let me walk you through how they literally walked into the lion's den, and they're really amped about it. Lefties are out there pumping this everywhere. Let's go to the Hill real quick. Sotomayor rips Thomas's bump stocks ruling in scathing dissent read from the bench. Well, yeah, she did. She did. That's not wrong. She also undermined gun controllers' AR-15 bans forever. But anyway, let's continue. Justice Sonia Sotomayor, in a fiery dissent, harshly denounced the Supreme Court ruling Friday that rejected a ban on bump stocks, saying it eviscerates the congressional regulation on machine guns. We're getting to that in a second. Today, Today, the court puts bump stocks back in civilian hands, Sotomayor wrote in a dissent, joined by fellow liberal Justices Kagan and Ketanji Brown Jackson. To do so, it casts aside Congress's definition of machine guns and seizes upon one that is inconsistent with the ordinary meaning of the statutory text and unsupported by context or purpose, which of course is the exact opposite of what Justice Thomas's decision said, along with 6 or 5 other justices. This is quite literally just placating to the left, but they did it wrong. All right, I'm going to show you what it's really about. It's not really about bump stocks. It's really about ATF overreach and legislation that bans things, all right? That's the big payoff. That's why they are freaking the F out, all right? The court ruled 6-3 against the Biden administration along ideological lines, finding that bans imposed by the Trump and Biden administrations enacted by classifying bump stocks as machine guns went too far. And this is a very important piece. This was Trump's bump stock ban. It's out there on the table. Everyone knows it. We conclude that a semi-automatic rifle equipped with a bump stock is not a machine gun because it does not fire more than one shot by a single function of the trigger, Justice Clarence Thomas wrote in the decision. We know that. We've known that. It is quite literally just transferring the motion from your finger to your hand. That is it. It is still semi-automatic. All right, you can accomplish the exact same thing with a belt. They even said it from the ATF in the actual arguments. And to be honest with you, if I remember correctly, the arguments themselves were exceedingly weak in the oral arguments because we covered. But this next piece is the big part around the ATF. Everything else, the bump stock, doesn't matter. That's not really the huge point. The huge point here is this right here. The case did not implement the Second Amendment, but instead asked whether the Trump administration, through the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, stretched the statutory definition of machine guns too far to cover bump stocks. Now, what that really means is the ATF, at the request of the Trump administration, took a definition, changed a few words, and stretched it so that it encompassed more things. They changed congressional law by executive bureaucratic interpretation. That's what this whole thing is about. It's always been about that, which is why this is so damning and they're freaking out, because you got pistol braces, you got ghost guns, you got ARs, all these things, of which they've done the exact same thing. Now, this is the part that's kind of like the hidden little Easter egg that really Sotomayor set up the table and made a nice little bow and a delicious presentation. Here's the actual dissent that I'm showing you. She wrote it on the exact same day. And again, a lot of people on our side, on the gun rights side, are jumping all over this because this is absolutely damning to their AR ban case. Okay? So there's the actual thing. And again, I want to read it. After we've covered all that, I want to read the last sentence one more time. He did so by affixing bump stocks to commonly available semi-automatic rifles. When you look at what they've done, their push in the last 5 years around interpretation changes through the ATF and the executive bureaucracies at the behest of the White House, the executive branch, which is not charged with making laws. That's Congress's job. They overstepped their bounds. They overstepped the separation of powers through their ATF overreach. And now, because they are angry and they want to write a really fiery dissent and get it on the record how angry they are, they just undermined AR bans and AR cases going forward. So now you've got a lovely little triumvirate of decision cases from the Heller decision, which was then the Heller decision laid the foundation. The Bruin decision built a nice little house on top of it. In the Cargill case, just put like one of those like rooster weather vanes on top to make it all the cute little farmhouse appeal. Like legit. This is a really big deal, guys, particularly since other AR bans are up for consideration. You're still waiting to hear the Chevron case, which is going to be a massive one, and also the Rahimi case. This is a big deal for this, and we haven't even gotten into what the left is doing to try to mobilize the response to this. We've got so much to do. Make sure you guys are subscribed, like the video, send it out to your friends, family, everyone who you hold dear, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.